I was telling you about how difficult it is to be a mother and a guru because both are very contradictory functions. And especially for a person who wants to be in charge of your salvation, to be the Mokshadayini, it is extremely difficult because the path is so delicate and so treacherous that all of you have to come yourself, walk across. And if you fall this side or that side, there is disaster for you. I am watching your climbing and I see you coming up with a mother's heart and a guru's hand. And then I get the glimpses of people falling. I try to tell them, come up. Sometimes I shout. Sometimes I pull them up. Sometimes I love them, caress them. You can yourself judge within yourself how much I've worked on you, how much I've loved. But how much do you love yourself is the point. I've told you that for a Sahaja Yogi, the whole thing should be decided by the witnessing power. Now the witnessing power is silent, it doesn't talk. If you are a very talkative person, then it's not going to help you much. You have to come in balance. For the first time in this incarnation, I have started talking and I get throat trouble because I'm not used to this kind of talking. So for you people, it is necessary that you should not talk unless and until you feel like talking. And very few sentences, conclusive. As I told you before, the tongue is the master of all the organs of distraction. If you could master your tongue, you have mastered all of them in a way. Because everything has to be palatable. For example, you look at a woman. If she is not palatable, then she may be beautiful, but you don't want to look at her. She decides, the tongue decides about it. If you want to eat some food, if it is not palatable, then you don't want to eat that food. It has to be palatable. Then a thought also. A thought has to be palatable. If it is not palatable, you are not going to have it. So the deciding factor is the tongue. The root of the tongue goes up to the Vishuddhi chakra, which controls your ego and superego, or you can say that the tongue is reflected in superego and ego in a way. Through your tongue, when you speak, one can make out whether you are in the realm of ego or superego. She expresses, she decides. But if you understand her, then you know how to handle her. She is your friend. And Saraswati herself resides in your tongue. If you know how to handle your tongue, then Sahaja Yoga can rise very high up. Because when others meet you as Sahaja Yogis, they also see how the way you talk, the way you eat, the way the things are palatable to you. It is the tongue that decides. If you are really very much evolved, you'll be amazed that if you eat some food somewhere, immediately the tongue will immediately throw it out. It won't have it if it is something wrong. If some prasad so-called is given to you, which is given by some wrong type of man, immediately your tongue will throw it out. It won't be able to take it in. And even if you take some or other force down in the stomach, still the tongue will inform the brain that throw it out. And the brain will inform the stomach that throw it out. It will be unpalatable. So the action of Vishnu in the stomach up to the action of Sri Krishna, I mean the same personality, is all judged by your tongue. So you must know how pure, holy your tongue should be. That when you take the name of your mother with this tongue, you must know it has to be the holiest of holy. It is very important how you use your tongue. Those who talk very bluntly are just the same. Those who talk very sweetly to get something out of you is the intention. As I have told you, it controls ego and superego. Even if Sahajogi understand that the witness is also here at the Vishuddhi Chakra. So your witnessing power will increase and decrease according to your tongue. Of course, it controls 16 subplexes. It also controls the muscles of the eyes. It controls all the muscles. It controls the palate. It controls the teeth. It controls the ears. But ears, you hear something, you cannot control it. Tongue you can, because that is the thing which releases, which goes out. With the ear you cannot give anything to others. That is just one way. This is double way thing. You take in something and also can throw out something. It has a double purpose. It is a very important organ, and that's why we have to look after our tongue. When the Kundalini is rising, that means one thing is there, that your attention has become subtle, from gross to subtle. But it has to become subtler and subtlest, and then it has to go beyond that. By becoming subtle, only it comes up through the Agya. Because Agya is just like a hole in a needle. So it penetrates through that with the subtleness. Because of that subtleness, your attention sees everything but in a subtle form. Now this is a new experience for you. That's why you do not recognize what is that. In a group of Sahajogis, you can witness these things very carefully and clearly. There is one person whose eyes are roving still around. He's a Sahajogi. He's sitting down, he's looking here, looking there, looking that side, who is coming, who is going. Of course, this person is still in the gross state, you can say. Though he's got his attention up here by Mataji is pulling it out, you see, and hanging on to it. But still the person himself is still dragging outside into the gross. So don't bother about that. But even the person who is now, say, attentive, we can say attentive, because you see, words are not so precise. Even if you notice such a person, you will find his two forces in a very subtle way are acting. One is his subtle ego, another is a subtle super ego. When you become subtle, suddenly you get also powers of the subtle. Let us see the ego side of it. You start feeling inside yourself in a very subtle way that you do not recognize that it is ego. It is too subtle to be recognized. That you have got powers now to cure. You start feeling that now you have powers to raise the Kundalini. See how it goes down sedimenting into you. Then you start feeling you have powers to express yourself. Because you think you have learned Sahaja, and now you know the essence of it, and you can talk about it. This subtle ego develops into you. And the fourth type of subtle ego develops when you see the other person's super ego is developing. That is the most dangerous. It so happens that some people whose super ego develops now because they have had previous gurus, previous problems, previous, you see, the way they have been following religion, some mistakes and all that. Because of their mistakes, their super ego develops. You see something happening to them. Say Mr. X is spy. That a super ego is coming on to him, some negativity is flowing into him. So his ego starts developing against that force in a subtle way. Now he calls it a positive force. It is a positive force, no doubt. But he overcrosses it. When he overcrosses that side, he tries to push the superego another person. He trips over. He thinks he's doing the right thing. Of course, he is doing in a way, but to a point. And then he becomes very hot tempered. He goes on passing remarks about others. He says harsh things. That's how the subtlest point starts. To a point is all right. To a point, because in this I would say Ganesh and Jesus should be treated as the judging points. Christ did not mind when he was crucified. Not only that, but he asked for forgiveness for all those. But if his mother was even touched by somebody, he would have taken out his 11 Rudras and killed them. That's the point. When it comes to your mother, then of course, your ego and superego both have a meaning. But beyond that, if it starts directed at every Sahaja Yogi, then you don't know where to have the balance. For example, then such people, anything done to them also they identify themselves with mother and they think, no, he has said it to me, that means it is to mother also. It is not. You must know where you are criticized and where your mother is criticized. These are two things. That's why I said judging point is Christ. When he was crucified, he accepted it, though he was so much one with his mother. But still he could strike that line. When you are crucified, you are not to cry. But if anybody says anything against the mother, then of course. Now try to understand yourself. Now you are watching yourself. Whatever I am saying, you are watching yourself. It is for your good. That is how you find somewhere a person who gets a superego invasion. First of all, superego invasion is very, very deep and subtle. It's extremely deep. It comes into you in such a manner that you do not understand it. The other person who is very positive, so-called, will think that that person has got a negativity. But he won't know that he is overcrossing his positivity towards negativity itself, because once you cross this line, you go to this side. Once you cross this line, you go to this side. So immediately you are becoming negative once you cross this point. And it's the Sahasrara, is the Brahmarandra. Beyond the Brahmarandra, if you are pushing down, then you are crossing to the other side. You are playing into hands of other people. Now you must judge yourself and see, now, hello Mr. X, how are you behaving now? Immediately become a witness. You see witness of yourself. Now how the superego and ego, you see sometimes in some people, sometimes the ego presses the superego and the superego presses the ego. I've seen it. They don't know whether they are egoistical or whether they are dominated. They really do not know. They cannot decide. Because it's such a going on, wobbling all the time. That's why I say, better. You must sit down, settle down. See for yourself. Am I settled? Watch within yourself. Even you can feel the force. Actually, you can feel the force moving from this side to this side. You'll feel the force moving from this side to this side. Try to bring it in the center. Now, ego and superego, when they go on like that, you can say wobble one to another. It happens like this. At one moment, you start feeling dejected, frustrated. Nonsense. The other moment, you sit on yourself. Sit on others. You ask others to get out. This is bad. I didn't like that man. That fellow came. That fellow caught me. That thing happened. This thing happened. Two extremes you move to. That's not the way to Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga, Sahaja means that you are a witness. Sahaja. It has double meaning. Sahaja is normally used for a word which is simple. You are in a Sahaj method. Means you are a witness. You watch it. Look at these trees. They are just witnessing. They are not saying anything. They are just there. It is to be. It is just to be at this point. Are we that? Every movement dealing with anything, then you will not have any organizational problems. You have organizational problems because you are not a witness. You'll find two types of people. One who will say, I am suffering too much. The others will say, no, not me. Then they interchange also. See, their attitudes interchange. You can mix them. But you can just know where to stop it. You become a witness, silent. After talking for 1 minute, you just become silent. That's the best way. I think I can say a practical way. Is for your tongue is to be silent. As far as possible to be silent and be watching. But some people are silent and brooding. That's the worst thing that you are doing. No. Silent and watching. Neither brooding, not planning how to hurt others. And then suddenly a sentence will come out which will be so filthy, so cutting, so horrid, so full of venom that you think from where it has come, oh God. Such silence is absolutely useless. It should be like a river flowing. The river has its own depth and on top it is flowing. It's just 1 mile. That kind of a silence one should have. Not a forced one, but a silence of a witness. Even such a person is talking inside the flow of the silence. You are one with that silence which is filling you up all the time. And you can witness that in every leaf, in every movement of the leaf, you see the silence. They do not speak, but they manifest. In the same way, you do not speak, you manifest. Of course, human beings are higher than them because they speak. But if speak becomes a burden, a problem, a cutting instrument, it is better not to speak. Another thing a Sahaja Yogi must know that eyes are very important for Sahaja Yoga. When the Kundalini rises, then the dilatation of the pupil takes place because you have seen the children how their eyes are dilated, just gaping at everything. What is happening? Just gaping. Silence, the complete. Silent seeing goes on through the eyes. And that's why eyes are very important. You must learn to fix your eyes within yourself, in your heart. Humble down in your heart. Fix your eyes in your heart. I say that way, but I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you can do it, but if you could do it, that's a very good way of doing things. Looking at everyone, gazing at everyone, seeing this, seeing that, is a very bad exercise for your eyes. It's a very bad habit. Try to keep your eyes low on the earth, Mother Earth, watching the lower part of the body than the face, because face, if you are made that way, that you can watch the face is all right, but you are not yet made. Best thing is to see to the feet, and your eyes will touch their gross sense, feet, from where the sensation of vibrations go up, upward, and the Kundalini rises better. Actually, those who suffer from low Kundalini rising, if they could rub oil on their feet and wash their feet, it's a very good thing. That's why Christ washed the feet of his disciples. I wish I could do that if you allow me and permit. Because the whole grossness is in the feet. And if you touch somebody with your eyes, realize, people, I'm saying, their feet, most of their grossness will disappear. And you won't have that much problem with them. That's why Christ washed the feet of his disciples. You also wash your feet and keep them clean, so that the grossness drops out. I have explained in brief way, but if you want to ask me questions, ask. Because still I find that the Sahaja Yogis are not rising as fast as they could. Because the bringing Kundalini up to this and up to this is possible for me. But taking it back into your gross being is your own job, which you have to do. In Marathi, as they say it, Adi Kalasamagapaya. I have built the top, the dome for you, and the dome is now to be supported by you. I have taken you to the dome. But you cannot bring it down, because either you are frustrated with yourself. By being frustrated, what are you going to gain? Or else you are frustrated with others. Just be silent and be witnessing. As Sai Baba has said, Saburi, patience. It comes.